Welcome to the fascinating world of behavioral economics, where psychology meets finance. In this video, we'll explore how our minds shape the economic decisions we make every day. Unlike traditional economics, which assumes people always act rationally, behavioral economics recognizes that emotions, biases, and social influences often guide our choices. From spending habits to investment decisions, our brains can lead us astray in surprising ways. Let's dive in and discover how understanding these psychological factors can help us make better financial decisions and avoid common pitfalls. Traditional economics assumes that people are rational actors who always make decisions in their best interest. However, behavioral economics challenges this idea by showing that humans are often irrational, influenced by emotions and cognitive biases. This field bridges the gap between psychology and economics, offering a more realistic view of how we actually behave in markets and daily life. By understanding these differences, we can better appreciate why people sometimes make choices that seem illogical or even self-defeating. Cognitive biases are mental shortcuts that help us make decisions quickly, but they can also lead us astray. For example, confirmation bias makes us seek out information that supports our beliefs while ignoring evidence to the contrary. Anchoring bias causes us to rely too heavily on the first piece of information we receive. These biases can have a big impact on our financial decisions, from what we buy to how we invest. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward making smarter choices. Loss aversion is a key concept in behavioral economics. It refers to our tendency to prefer avoiding losses over acquiring equivalent gains. In other words, losing $100 feels worse than gaining $100 feels good. This bias can lead us to make overly cautious decisions, such as holding on to losing investments or avoiding risks that could actually benefit us. Understanding loss aversion can help us recognize when our fear of loss is holding us back from making rational choices. Endowment effect describes how we tend to value things we own more highly than things we don't. For example, you might demand more money to sell a concert ticket you own than you would be willing to pay to buy it. This bias can lead to overpricing items or holding onto possessions longer than is rational. Recognizing the endowment effect can help us make more objective decisions about buying, selling, and letting go. A choice presented can dramatically influence our decisions. This is known as the framing effect. For instance, people are more likely to choose a product labeled 90% fat-free than one labeled 10% fat, even though they mean the same thing. Marketers and politicians often use framing to sway opinions and behaviors. By being aware of framing, we can pause and consider whether our choices are being influenced by how options are presented rather than their actual value. Heuristics are mental shortcuts we use to make quick decisions. While they can be helpful, they sometimes lead to errors in judgment. For example, the availability heuristic makes us overestimate the likelihood of events that are easy to recall, like plane crashes. In finance, this can cause us to make decisions based on recent news rather than long-term trends. Understanding heuristics helps us recognize when our instincts might be misleading. Emotions play a powerful role in our economic decisions. Fear, excitement, and even regret can drive us to make choices that aren't always in our best interest. For example, fear of missing out can lead to impulsive purchases, while regret can cause us to avoid taking necessary risks. By acknowledging the influence of emotions, we can strive to make more balanced and thoughtful decisions. Humans are social creatures, and our economic decisions are often influenced by the actions of others. Herd behavior describes our tendency to follow the crowd, especially in uncertain situations. This can lead to phenomena like stock market bubbles or panic buying. By understanding social influence, we can pause and evaluate whether we're making decisions based on our own judgment or simply following others. Ethical accounting refers to the way we categorize and treat money differently depending on its source or intended use. For example, we might splurge with a tax refund but be frugal with our regular paycheck. This can lead to inconsistent financial behavior and missed opportunities for saving or investing. Recognizing mental accounting can help us manage our money more effectively and make decisions that align with our long-term goals. Sunk cost fallacy is our tendency to continue investing in something simply because we've already put time, money, or effort into it, even when it's no longer the best choice. For example, staying in a bad investment because you've already lost money. Recognizing this fallacy can help us cut our losses and make decisions based on future benefits rather than past costs. Hyperbolic discounting is our tendency to prefer smaller, immediate rewards over larger, delayed ones. This explains why we might choose to spend money now rather than save for the future. While instant gratification feels good, it can undermine our long-term financial health. By being aware of this bias, we can create strategies to prioritize long-term goals and resist the temptation of short-term rewards. Default options are the preset choices that take effect if we do nothing. Behavioral economics shows that people are much more likely to stick with default options, whether it's a retirement plan or a subscription service. By setting beneficial defaults, organizations can help people make better decisions without requiring extra effort. Understanding this can help us take control and make active choices rather than passively accepting defaults. Nudge is a subtle change in the way choices are presented that encourages better decisions without restricting freedom. For example, placing healthy foods at eye level in a cafeteria nudges people to eat better. In finance, automatic enrollment in savings plans is a powerful nudge. By understanding nudges, we can design environments that help ourselves and others make smarter choices. Overconfidence bias leads us to overestimate our knowledge or abilities, especially in areas like investing. This can result in taking excessive risks or ignoring important information. By recognizing overconfidence, we can seek out diverse perspectives and make more balanced decisions. It's important to stay humble and open-minded, especially when it comes to complex financial choices. Anchoring is the tendency to rely heavily on the first piece of information we receive when making decisions. In pricing, the initial price we see can anchor our expectations, making subsequent prices seem more or less reasonable. Retailers use this tactic with original price tags to make discounts appear more attractive. Being aware of anchoring can help us evaluate deals more objectively. Scarcity, or the perception that something is in limited supply, can drive us to make impulsive decisions. Sales with limited time offers or only a few left play on this bias, making us feel urgency to buy. While scarcity can sometimes reflect real value, it's important to pause and consider whether the pressure is justified. Recognizing this influence helps us avoid unnecessary purchases. Status quo bias is our preference for things to stay the same. We often stick with existing choices, even when better options are available, simply because change feels uncomfortable. This can affect everything from our investments to our daily routines. By challenging the status quo, we open ourselves up to new opportunities and potentially better outcomes. Trust plays a crucial role in economic transactions. We're more likely to do business with people or companies we trust, even if it's not the most rational choice financially. Building and maintaining trust can lead to long-term relationships and better outcomes for everyone involved. Understanding the importance of trust can help us navigate negotiations and partnerships more effectively. People care deeply about fairness and reciprocity in economic exchanges. We're often willing to sacrifice personal gain to punish unfairness or reward generosity. This can be seen in negotiations, tipping, and even charitable giving. Recognizing the role of fairness can help us understand why people sometimes act against their own financial interest for the sake of justice. Having too many options can be overwhelming, leading to decision fatigue or even paralysis. This is known as choice overload. In financial products, too many choices can make it harder to pick the best one. Simplifying options or setting clear criteria can help us make more confident and effective decisions. Defaults have a powerful influence on our choices. For example, countries with automatic organ donation enrollment have much higher participation rates. In finance, defaulting to higher savings rates can dramatically improve outcomes. By understanding the power of defaults, we can design systems that help people make better choices with less effort. Present bias is our tendency to give stronger weight to immediate rewards over future benefits. This can lead to procrastination or undersaving for retirement. By recognizing present bias, we can set up systems like automatic transfers to savings accounts, making it easier to prioritize long-term goals over short-term desires. Incentives are rewards or penalties that motivate behavior. Behavioral economics shows that people don't always respond to incentives in predictable ways. For example, small rewards can sometimes be more motivating than large ones, and social recognition can be as powerful as financial incentives. Understanding how incentives work can help us design better policies and personal strategies. Social norms are the unwritten rules that guide our behavior. We often make economic decisions based on what we think others expect of us. For example, tipping in restaurants or donating to charity. By understanding social norms, we can see how peer pressure and cultural expectations influence our choices, sometimes more than rational analysis. Planning fallacy is our tendency to underestimate how long tasks will take and how much they'll cost. This can lead to missed deadlines and budget overruns. In economic decisions, being aware of the planning fallacy can help us build in extra time and resources, leading to more realistic expectations and better outcomes. Habits are automatic behaviors that shape our economic decisions, often without conscious thought. Good habits like saving regularly can lead to financial success, while bad habits like impulsive spending can undermine our goals. By understanding how habits form, we can design routines that support better financial outcomes. Behavioral finance applies the principles of behavioral economics to investing. It explains why investors often make irrational decisions, such as chasing trends or panicking during market downturns. By recognizing these patterns, we can develop strategies to avoid common mistakes and make more rational investment choices. Behavioral economics isn't just theoretical, it has practical applications in policy, business, and personal finance. Governments use behavioral insights to design better programs, businesses use them to improve marketing, and individuals can use them to make smarter choices. By applying these principles, we can create environments that support better decision-making for everyone. Summary: behavioral economics reveals the hidden forces that shape our economic decisions. By understanding biases, emotions, and social influences, we can make more informed and rational choices. Whether you're managing your money, investing, or making everyday purchases, applying these insights can help you avoid common pitfalls and achieve your financial goals. Remember, being aware of how your mind works is the first step toward making better decisions.